Welcome to the Good News Bay podcast, where we are making Bay County brighter one conversation at a time. I'm so excited about all the good news, and it just seems like here in Bay County lately, the good news just keeps on coming. There's lots of good news in Lynn Haven. This very week that we're recording this podcast, Miss Vickie and I have spent a little bit of time together this week because we all got to, you and the mayor helped officiate, I guess, the dedication of the new city hall, which just opened. And so what a special time to be able to have her here today to enlighten us about the city, to tell us some things good things that are happening. And I think for a number of you that are listeners, she's going to be able to help identify not just a few things that are coming, a few things you're going to want to put on your calendar, but also some resources that are available.
Absolutely.
So, Ms. Vickie, thank you for being.
Thank you for asking me.
Let me do my best to kind of backtrack just a little.
Okay.
I know you have a background, fairly lengthy background in as far as a career in the areas of marketing and communications.
Yeah.
And you were at work for the city prior to being appointed as an interim city manager.
Correct.
And then after a period of months of doing that, they determined that you were gonna be the long-term city manager.
True.
And under your watch, you have been busy. Is it fair to say?
I think that's a fair assessment of my role here as city manager. Yes, since 2019. That was the official that I was named city manager. And since then, we've just taken off, been very focused, had some really great staff. I cannot just thank them enough for the staff that we have, because you can't do it by yourself. You have to have that team that's willing to go with you all the way. And I have those members in my team throughout the city, everywhere.
Well, we're going to talk about what a great job I think you guys are doing with some of your social media stuff. And I say that we'll put a bunch of different links in the show notes so that people can access the different things that we talk about.
Sure.
One of the things that I loved was the picture that they took of the city staff, like all of them together. And as we walk through some of the great things that are happening, when you look at the opening of this new city hall and the complex, I guess probably is a better way to describe it. This city staff, many of them were there 5 years ago.
Yes, they were.
And they were staying because they're not like a lot of average Bay County, not anybody's average in Bay County, but there are certain people that have to stay.
Yeah.
And many of them were among them.
Yeah.
You were among them.
That is correct.
And that building blew away.
Yeah.
Like it literally came apart as the storm occurred. There was a lot of struggle after because of it. And we should not underemphasize the trauma that all of us that were here and lived through that experience underwent. And so there's a sigh of relief, I think, for that entire team to think that if there is another storm and they stay because they're essential, that we have a building now that is rated for 200-mile-an-hour winds. It's got 10-inch poured concrete walls, right?
That's correct.
Now, have I said that right? It's a big deal for that team.
It's a very big deal. While I wasn't in that building, I was in my home, where my home was collapsing on top of my husband and I. Yes, there's lots of trauma there. And many of these folks, all of us, once we got into the city, we worked day and night. There were officers who did not get a break for 72 hours. They were on the watch until we had other agencies to come in and to relieve us. But we had nowhere to stay.
Right.
We couldn't feed the people that were coming in because we didn't have anywhere to put them. But this new building does just that for us. Whatever it may be, I think that the citizens will see that we will be well equipped to take care of our city and to take care of our residents if something like this ever happened again.
Well, I think just knowing that not only is the space going to create lots of opportunities of things that were not easy before. In addition to that, now that the city buildings in large part, now there's some other things that'll have to be looked at, right?
Sure.
But it's a pretty colossal accomplishment people are like, well, it's been 5 years. No, if you're dealing with FEMA, and I know we gave a lot of thanks and we've been gracious, none of those processes are easy.
None of them. None of them.
Those that watch this show know that I've dealt with that at home. I've dealt with that with the church. I've walked many families through that process. you at a different level. It is not simple. And we live in a world where things are, it's hard to get things done, okay?
Yeah.
And this is a good news show, but the good news is we've made significant progress and we can get this behind us.
Yes, and we have, and I thank God that we can put this behind us. We have learned so many lessons. And one of the things that I would love to do is, I know there are natural disasters everywhere. I want to be a help to a city manager or someone else who really had not, maybe never experienced something that we've experienced before, and be able to say, okay, make sure you have this done and make sure you have these things in place. I think that's very helpful. While we were all preparing, we were not prepared enough for a storm of this nature. Right. And then afterwards, not really knowing the process well enough, and then learning it, and then working it night and day with both FEMA, on the state side to get that reimbursement. And so we've learned a lot that I hope that we will be able to share with other cities, wherever they may be, when they have any type of natural disaster.
Well, and unfortunately, because there have been other storms in our state and elsewhere, I know that I've been proud of law enforcement.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, we've set some down. Yes, because we understand now. And that's important. When you are trying to rebuild a city, you cannot rebuild a city in one day, 1 year, 2 years. It does take a while. I remember the adjuster was even at my house, and I said, so how long do you think that it will take to just rebuild Bay County, the city? He said, all the disasters I've ever been on, it's usually anywhere from 5 to 7 years. So we're in our 5th year, and we still have 2 other projects to go. Well,
and you're going to hear throughout our interview together just one example after the other of places where we're ahead of schedule in large part. And I think, as we're in individual conversations and with friends and family about things that are being built or adjustments that are being made, we think a lot of these things are easy, but we live in a world where adjustments are not simple.
No.
They are not easy. And in this podcast, we talk a lot about entrepreneurship. And one of the things that means, and you actually use the word in our pre-talk about flexibility.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of coined the term here. Well, I don't know that we coined it. We picked up a term that had been used before called flexagility. And it's this idea not just of change or flex, being flexible, but being able to flex at the speed of real life.
That's right.
And that's what the world's throwing at us, is change at a pace that we've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And so as we talk about like some of the adjustments that have been made, you haven't just actually been city manager through the aftermath of rebuilding during a hurricane. Pandemic came along right up in there.
Absolutely.
And so you had to figure out, how do you do city government through the pandemic? Like, whoop, y'all too close. Get farther apart.
It was amazing that we were able to still do business and still get things done. And absolutely,
people still keep their trash.
They still want their trash picked up. They still want water. They want sewer. They want services. Building was still going on during COVID. So we had to find a way to give those services and still, make sure that we were healthy. And so what COVID really taught a lot of us how to put more things online, to go virtual, digital. And it helped really a lot of the government to do that, because, we are a paper environment.
We are. And there's a lot of people who still want to be.
Yes.
I'm actually one of them. I throw my phone in the lake if I could, but I don't get to.
No, we made that change a lot during COVID. And so it helped us to move forward a little bit better too, and to be more efficient. We put better processes in place. COVID helped us to do that.
We've talked quite a bit about new processes.
Yeah.
And this matters.
Yeah.
They increase accountability. They increase efficiency. It helps with communication in large part. Is it fair to say, and this, I think it's part of the good news story, but we are, as a community, like, we're having to grow up. Like, all parts of Bay County are getting bigger and getting bigger quick.
Absolutely.
And if we're not careful, now I know some of my folks, and I love y'all, but some of my listeners are used to the way things have always been.
Yeah.
And they want their grandkids now. They want them to stay here, and they want them to have high-paying jobs, and they want to talk about how there's no high-paying jobs, but they don't want not a single extra person to come to Bay County. And listen, those two things don't work.
No, it's just not like that anymore. And I wish that, we could take both sides and kind of mesh it together, but it's not like that anymore because they're seeing the great things that are happening within Bay County and Lynn Haven. Lynn Haven is a jewel. And, as it's been dust off and people are looking at it, and it continues to be grind a little bit. It gets better and better.
Oh, and there's so many good things. You've got kids coming out of schools in Lynn Haven and achieving in ways that they haven't before. Right. We've got athletes in schools that are doing things athletically. Yeah. I mean, there's champions coming out.
It's all over.
And we have people that are excelling.
And that's exactly right. And I think when you have those things, people see how you are excelling. You can't help but to grow. Because when people move into or think about moving here in Bay County, they're going to be looking for places to live. I think Chief said in our grand opening about Lynn Haven being for the 10th year, top 2 of the safest cities. That's
I had to go fact check that. And you're right. Like it's true. If you Google based on population, we're the 2nd safest city in the state. And we're actually the 14th safest.
That's right.
Regardless of population.
Regardless.
Did you know, you and I, we didn't get into a ton of the bio, but one of the things that people need to know about you is that, and me, I think, we both are honorary commanders with the Air Force,
That's
right?
True.
So because of that, and I think it's incredibly important for you to be in that role because it gives you a behind-the-scenes look at how we can aid and encourage and literally be ambassadors for these new military families that are coming in. And so we're seeing what this construction is going to be. But in the process of seeing all that, there literally is a transition that's taking place in our community. There are more folks moving in.
Yes, there are.
They need schools. They need all these utilities. But those things also bring opportunities for those of us that have lived here our whole life.
It really does. And one of the things about honorary commander is that we want people to have the knowledge and have the accessibility of all the services wherever you are in the city. And we surely thrive on that. We know people moving in from new states. They don't know what's happening here, maybe in Lynn Haven, but we want to be accessible to them. And so this honorary commander's role has helped me to say, I'm here, we're here. Call me if we can help in any way, and just be ambassadors for it.
So I'm mixing things up a little bit, which I'm known to do is go off. Right? So one of the things that I've learned is as families have moved to town and we talk to young families with children, they want to know, even before they move here sometimes, if they've got a child that plays soccer, that plays baseball, what amenities does this community have for my child? Well, because of the hurricane, we have this fall, really finally gotten the Lynn Haven Sports Complex back up and running.
That's exactly.
And see, tell us a little, what all does it?
Let me tell you about that. So after Hurricane Michael and COVID, our numbers were really low. We were considered the baseball, softball city in Bay County. Over 1,000 kids, I think, in spring ball, usually Lynn Haven had. And so the first year we really opened back up, we had 250. Then the next year we had 450. Then the year after that, it went up to 680. And then this year in just fall ball, we're not even in spring ball yet. Okay. Fall ball is 787 participants. And so we anticipate that we will hit the 1,000 mark probably in spring ball, because now we have 5 beautiful fields that kids can come and play. We have Ken Griffin Park. That was one of the rebuilds we did early on back in 2020. Yeah, and so we started with that one first because we knew that youth needed something to do after COVID and all of these other things. So now we got the sports complex that they have all of these fields here, indoor basketball court, outdoor basketball court, pickleball, both inside and outside.
Did you say pickleball?
I said
As
pickleball.
In the fastest growing sport in America?
I said pickleball. Absolutely, I did.
Somebody's mortified because they've been playing pickleball in Lynn Haven and now they're not going to have a court because we told them a secret. So they can play inside as well?
They can play inside and outside. So when we opened up the outdoor courts, it was really in the heat of the day of the summer. People were still playing.
They are.
And now that we've opened up pickleball and inside in the gym, also with that, we added volleyball. So we've had a rotation schedule basketball, volleyball, pickleball. And
times now, if you go over thinking you're going to play pickleball all day inside,
we got to give a little bit of
do it outside, but the inside, it's just, they put the courts up just at a certain time.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And then the last part of that is that we added the Boys and Girls Club there.
I was hoping
we don't have a Boys and Girls Club the north of Bay County, and this has been great for us. And so now we're just waiting for that transportation to come along for all of those kids, because we do have a large waiting list that will be able to have after-school care. We think it's a great thing.
Bay County is very supportive of the Boys and Girls Club, and I know your involvement there has gone back.
Yes, absolutely. Board,
which is great.
Yeah.
But it literally, if we're looking at good news, we have a Lynn Haven chapter. Is that what you would call it, or Lynn Haven Club?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I know that's a big addition. And if we're looking at what the hurricane has brought, the reality is, and we said this 5 years ago, it just wasn't true yet.
That's very true.
We said that when we rebuild, we're gonna have opportunities we never would have had otherwise. We have had parks built and rebuilt in many spaces, but this is one of those, and it's state of the art. It's brand new.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that I said that on Tuesday. While yes, it was a horrible situation for everyone in Bay County. When you come back and you have the opportunity to rebuild, you can rebuild bigger and better. But those things that you maybe dreamed of, you can put some of those things there. Because listen, we're not just building for now. We're building for the future. We want people to actually, if we want people to stay here, and the kids to go off and get an education to stay here, we're going to have to give them something to stay here for. And I just think that that's part of the community growth, is making sure that families have activities no matter what age group they are.
Right. Well, and you've been very encouraging regarding like the budgetary side of a lot of these projects. Not only are there new processes in place, requirements in terms of how projects are approved. In fact, we talked about a couple of things that are being discussed, but it's not something that we're going to say out loud, because those are things that have not been, like, if it's not been approved by the right people, then you don't say it's happening, because it's not a done deal until it's been properly
done and approved. And one of the things I know about a rebuild is that it's a juggling act, because you have insurance money, you have FEMA money, and you got to look at what you can afford, what you're going to get on both ends. And that's been our goal, is when we finish this rebuild, we will not owe any money to the rebuild of the city of Lynn Haven.
Speaking about fiscal conservatism, can I say that? Because people may say, well, how is Lynn Haven doing financially? Sure. Budget-wise, we're doing pretty good.
We're doing really, really well. A couple of years ago, when I first took over as city manager, we were struggling. And but that's when you have to know, you have to be fiscally responsible, take hold of the reins, and lead with clarity. And that was one of the things that I promised myself that I will always do, is lead with clarity. And because I think that puts everybody in the same direction. And so now, we are very much healthy. Our accounts are healthy. We took out a $30 million bond, just like most cities did. And that bond has helped us to remove all of that debris that was in the city. Of course, it was everywhere. I think it was just in Lynn Haven alone, I think it was 1.5 million of cubic yards of debris. That's a lot of debris.
Well, and this isn't the good news part, but all of us that were here remember how big the bill was for the debris and how slow the federal government was to bring help with all of that. We had to keep motion going.
Had to keep going.
But to know that we've taken a big bite out of that debt, like, people need to hear that. It was 60 some odd million.
It was $65 million, and that included the $30 million bond. And today, we will be at $43 million. We just paid off a couple other things, and then we're looking in 24. There will be a couple of other debts that will be paid off as well. So our goal is to really pay the debt down,
right?
And probably in 2025, almost be where we were before Hurricane Michael.
So new businesses that come to town and open up and provide privately provide services to our citizens, they pay taxes, don't they?
They pay
That
taxes.
helps the economy
Absolutely.
a little.
Absolutely. They pay taxes.
Can I throw out a couple of actual businesses that are coming? Everybody likes to eat. I don't know. Well,
Everyone loves to eat.
and so our people may know this, but Major Smokehouse
Yeah.
is coming into Lynn Haven.
Okay.
For a long time, they've been a place that you can go through and get some stuff, but now they're going to have, I guess, some seating spaces, which is good. It's yummy. I've had it before. There's a Checkers.
Yeah.
It's coming there on 77, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's probably their goal is to open sometime this month.
If you don't know what Checkers is, they got
Gotta
burgers.
find out.
I mean, I'm a Whataburger guy, but I may check Checkers out.
that's
You
my
never
favorite.
know. I mean, Whataburger better watch it. Diego's Burrito Factory.
Yeah, they are on the move as well. They're doing some construction right now. You can pass by on 77.
So I may not have to drive all the way to the beach.
No, you won't.
A burrito. Now I might still do that every now and then. And then there's a Nelson Steakhouse
Yeah,
coming.
we did all of
Which
these
will
have
be
been.
locally owned and operated, and so that's something else to look forward to.
Nope, the commission has passed all of those development orders, and they're doing well. So we're growing.
Now I can tell you that leadership's hard right now, and I say that because I've done a little bit of that. Maybe not quite as in the spotlight as what you have. And change is hard.
Change is hard.
There's a quote that we talked about, and I love the quote. I didn't know you loved the quote until I started researching you. You love the quote too. John Maxwell said, "The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist expects it to change, and the leader adjusts their sails." And listen, we had a big strong wind that came in, and it knocked some things down, and nobody was happy about it.
Nope.
But at some point, you got to decide where are we going from here.
You just adjust the sail. And a lot of times, it's not when you adjust the sail, everybody doesn't even want to be on that boat or that ship in the direction you're going. But you still have to do that because someone is looking for the leader to lead. And I think if the leader has a positive attitude, people will have a positive attitude. I'm not saying everybody will. But you had
no, everybody.
Sure.
But a lot of
but a lot of people will, and they can. And so I think you can't sit back and talk about the way things were, where I want them to be, or where they used to be. You just have to adjust the sail and move on.
I may get roasted a little bit here for quoting Nick Saban. I don't dislike Alabama.
Well, I'm an Alabama fan.
If you're an Alabama fan.
And an FSU fan. Let's put that.
I'm a Seminole.
That's it.
But I like leadership where I see it. And Nick Saban said, if you
go sell ice cream.
Well,
that's
city government ain't selling ice cream.
No.
Church work ain't selling ice cream.
No.
But in light of that, so you say, well, how's that good news? Well, let's see here. The positive is that you are doing your very best to make yourself available.
That's right.
So that you can inform citizens, number one, because constantly in my world, like information is going out very, very quick. And we do our best, like I think you do, I believe you do, I know I do, to try to get information even to my team. And they're like, well, I didn't know about that. I'm like, well, I just found out. I'm telling you right now. So you actually have an appointed time each month that you get with citizens that want
to come out,
be informed, and give feedback.
It's called Table Talk. Started it about 2 years ago. It's the last Thursday in each month. Citizens come out, they sit down and talk to me about any and every issue. They may see a light that's out somewhere and they will say, hey, this light's been out for 3 weeks. Can you make sure you put that on your list? And we take everything that they're saying, kind of minutes, if you will. And then we come back next month and we say, hey, all of these things you said, we would give them an update and they're so happy. And then I let them know I'm just available. We talk about hard subjects. We talk about things that they thought they heard that probably are not true, but then we clarify things for them. And I think that's very important. As a leader, you have so much chatter sometimes, and people have to kind of weed through what's true and what's not true. And so when I come there, I really want to be honest and give them good information that hopefully they can take it out and be the evangelist for the city.
I love that.
Yeah.
Another way that they can keep up with what's going on, and in particular in the pre-talk, we were talking about young moms and activities, because we have people that are moving here. Some moms that are probably in the area and don't even know. There have been several parks that have opened up. They're going to want to know, when do I sign my kids up for the Lynn Haven Sports Complex? Some elderly person, like senior adult, may say, what time's the pickleball again? the social media page is updated pretty regularly.
It's filled. It's very much interactive with the people who come on the page. We really try to keep people updated. Most of the time, whatever you're going to see on social media, you're also going to see it on the website as well. And so that's a great place to go and see all of the events that are coming up, what we're doing. Anytime you can call any of the offices, particularly sports complex, if there are some tournaments going on right now, we have people that are calling us wanting to utilize our facilities for tournaments, and we're happy to do that because that's the way that the word gets out about our new sports complex. But I want people to be involved and be happy and attend some of these events. We just had a really great grand opening, but now we've turned our attention to Halloween. That's one of the huge events that we do. It's usually 7,000-8,000 people that attend that event.
There's a hometown feel and a culture in Lynn Haven that is extremely attractive. And when I say that, it's attractive to locals. It brings a great feeling to parents. Even some of these things are things that we've participated in on some levels. My kids were coming up, when the band's marching through the downtown Lynn Haven or whatever. But like the 4th of July parade is something that has been elevated a lot in the last couple of years. And those of us that have seen even just the picture of the fire trucks and that big flag draped across, and then the last 2 years, y'all had that float.
Yeah, we did. And that, you know what?
That's next level.
That's next level. And it's great, just being a part of the honorary commanders, because that helps you to kind of guide you in the right direction, what you need to do, and then establish those relationships so that you can do it again. Of course, this year was the last year that F-22s would be flown here. And so I'm going to be reaching for the stars this year with July 4th and try to get me 2 F-35s to come through there this time. And we work hard to get that done. But that is again, July 4th, we start that event. We start planning in March for that event, and then it goes all the way to July.
Well, another thing, a traditional event is like the Christmas parade and whatnot. But in addition, there's a winter wonderland.
That's a big.
That's not Christmas. That's beforehand. That's like lights coming on and stuff.
That's where the men probably don't want their wives to come out on that day, because it's a lot of shopping. If you want to get a lot of your shopping done before Christmas, every vendor that we have right now, we have
local vendors.
They're local and some of our surrounding counties. Right now, just in applications, we have over 100 vendors right now.
If there's vendors listening, can they put an application?
They surely can. And we want to, give the very best. Our events are really good. They've gotten bigger and better over the years. And it's just a lot of planning, great staff that are doing their job to make sure that, people have things to do. And on a Saturday, you should see Sheffield Park. It is just packed with people. And you see them leave away with all of their probably Christmas gifts that they're going to give to their family, or, honey. Somebody may buy honey, or all of these different things. So that's a great event. And then right after that, we go into what's called our Christmas tree lighting. We've been doing for the past couple of years with Channel 7. It's been a great event. They do gospel singing, and then we do the Christmas tree lighting first, and then we have the gospel singing. And then after that, the next day is the Christmas parade. It's on Florida Avenue, but it's massive.
So if they're new to town and they're saying, hey, I don't know what to do with my kids, I want something to go do festive. We have a community here that's doing those things, and they can go on Facebook. We'll put the links all in the show notes as well.
Yes. You can go on Facebook, and you can go actually to the City of Lynn Haven's website, and usually we'll have those dates, and you click on them. Some
of my folks at the church have enjoyed the concert series.
Oh, my God.
You do them at different times of the year, but there's a fall concert series.
There's one going on right now. And the reason people ask us, what are you doing on Thursday? Because we know that people are heading out to football games or watching football games, high school football games, and heading out to other college football games on Friday. So Thursday is the day that we set aside for fall concert series. And then in the spring, we have spring concert series. That is on Friday. So we try to have 8 weeks of them, and people have asked us to extend them. But once we extend them, they get into some of our other events. So it's nonstop. And this year, that will be the first year in 2024 that we will have what's called Spread the Love Festival of Nations. That will be in April. It's the first year we'll do that because we want to bring our community together in so many ways.
What is that going to be?
This will be the first year we will do this. We want to bring all different type of ethnic groups together and let people learn about all the different types of diversity that's in our city and our Bay County. And so they may set up and they may have different food, different some type of materials or things.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I didn't practice this, but like, eating food from other places is sometimes interesting. And we eat Mexican locally, and it's Tex-Mex. Yeah. It's not real Mexican food. So you could theoretically try some foods for some other parts of the world.
Mm-hmm. And really, this is the idea that a resident actually came to me and said, I just don't think people know all the diversity that's in Bay County. And we want to be able to really educate people about, different things and cultures. And I think this is a great idea. And so we listen to our residents and try to put some of those things in place. Not all the time that we can do that, but I just thought this was something that we could do because, the mayor was trying to do the spread the love. So we said, hey, they kind of go together. So let's put that together and see how it'll look. So it's probably going to be out at Kensaw Park, where you have a lot of room, a lot of vendors, different types of food.
I guess because this is my show, I feel like I can add some in at the very end, and there's no surprise here. But one of the things, I got to know you because I came to some of the different meetings and whatnot. Partly because of some development we were doing as a church, but I learned that there's an organization that the mayor started, and it's where some of the high school students can participate in local government, which I think is a brilliant idea.
Brilliant.
Because we need new, young, sharp leaders. Y'all were able to tap into some of the design gift sets and skills, technology that these kids have, teenagers. And I literally, in one or two of the meetings, I was at a meeting and one of our teenagers was at them like, what are you doing here? So I just think that's one of the bright places to establish leadership and to show a future generation how government works. The high schoolers can participate.
That's a great point. And Mayor started, it's called the Mayor's Youth Council.
That's what it's called.
And I think that, of course, when we were growing up, we had government. We were taught government. We were taught history, all of those things. And we're just trying to bring back home to our youth how important local government is, because this is where it starts. This is the hard part on local government, because you're right there with the people that you serve every single day, and you hear and you become to know a lot of those folks, and then you've got to really be educated about how local government works. I think when people have a better idea of that, they're more informed, and then they become the ambassadors for local government because they're more informed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to kind of get to the close, but I want to do so because I really, these conversations for me are a way to take folks that I've had a chance to interact with. Some of them I haven't interacted with a whole lot. You and I have gotten to interact because of the Honorary Commander program in part. But I think people that have, they hear chatter, but they don't know about the person. They hadn't met the person. And this gives them a chance to kind of meet who Miss Vickie really is.
Correct.
You've been married for 42 years.
Yeah.
To Harry.
Harry.
Well, I think it helps people to know not only that you're married to a loving husband, you've got 2 children.
2 children, Karen and Trey.
And you've got 4 grandchildren.
And my children say, Mom, you and Dad are just 2 totally different people with these grandchildren than you are with us. We look at you sometime and say, who are these people? But they are truly the love of my life. The grandchildren are just, they're grand. That's what I tell people all the time. And I love that they want to come to my house to stay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Well, I love that you're connected to Bay County, that you love Bay County, you love Lynn Haven.
I do.
There are many opportunities in Lynn Haven, whether you were already a resident or you're thinking about becoming a resident, or you're maybe thinking that there's some people that like to eat down there in Lynn Haven.
Yes, we love to have you. We would. Yeah, we're here. We
need to call and talk.
That's exactly right. I love to sit down and talk to anyone that comes in, especially people who are thinking about moving in, thinking about opening a business. We always do that because we think it's important.
Are you excited about
Yes, I am very excited about the future of Lynn Haven. And one of the things we do is that we do have a strategic plan, because you have to have a plan in mind for the next leadership that will come in. We want to leave this place better than we found it. And so the rebuild, people ask, so what's after the rebuild? We will continue to focus on infrastructure. When you have growth, you got to make sure you have strong infrastructure in place. And so those are the things that we're looking at. Stormwater is now fixed. What will be in the future for a new wastewater treatment plant? That has to happen.
Well, it's been such a treat to get to talk about all the good.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
We truly believe that the
Still yet to come. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Good News Bay podcast, where we are making Bay County brighter one conversation at a time. Please help us share this good news and change the conversation by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the podcast.